respect to the trans community. And fuck you, transphobes.
Trans people are my friends. Transphobes come catch these heads. Trans people are my friends. So respect them, but we're going in. Trans people are my friends. Transphobes come catch these heads. Trans people are my friends. So respect them, but we're going in. Transphobes, show your fucking out. I'll knock you out. I'll knock you out. Transphobes, show your fucking out. I'll knock you out. You better watch out. Trans people are my friends. Transphobes, come catch these heads. Trans people are my friends. So respect them, but we're going in. Trans people are my friends. Transphobes, come catch these heads. Trans people are my friends. So respect them, but we're going in.
I think that's how it ends. It's not a very good song, but it's funny, so I played it. Hello, chats. Multiple chats. Chats, plural. Chats in the PeerTube instance. Chats in VK. And for the 2 Russian people who are watching there, and then the majority of people who are on the Odyssey. I'm not sure which works, if any of them. Probably the VK instance, because that's like a real site. If not, let's see. We got 218, 220 on the PeerTube, about 650 on Odyssey, and 5 on VK. I think you have to. I guess you don't have to have an account for that, and I should probably turn off my Telegram notifications. I forget. My week. Okay, the last few days have been like a tech hell for me because, my wonderful Manjaro desktop crashed, and then that like the desktop breaking apparently breaks all like your notification settings and all sorts of shit, and then like I got a strike. I got a strike on YouTube within 24 hours of that stream on Tuesday, which makes me think 2 things. Number one, people who like me and who like my streams will report me if I say bad things about VTubers. And number 2, that YouTube's moderators, paid moderators, work the weekdays, but less of them work on the weekends. Because I've never had a strike within 24 hours of a stream before. Only before a stream, when it was a DMCA thing. So I'm pretty sure that streaming on Friday is unintentional genius on my part, because streaming on Monday is a bad idea, because that's when all the grumpy troons are there. So let's see, a couple things to talk about today. I've got my lineup was very like retread heavy on like the usual suspects, so I injected some fun, some pizzazz. There's a real secret highlight to the apparently Odyssey is just like eating shit. Just eating like the most shit possible. And what's sad is that my bit stream isn't even that high. My output's like 2500. That's like the bare minimum for a 1080p stream. So I don't know what the deal is. So you can, if you don't want to use VK, you can use the PeerTube instance, and that should be sufficient. I apologize. And I apologize to everybody listening to the recording who don't give a fuck about my tech issues. I'll pin that. I miss Trovo. I got secretly, silently, randomly banned from Trovo. I haven't used Trovo in years, but I got banned like a couple months ago on Trovo, and it's like I don't know what triggered that for them to ban me, but it happened. I don't know why. Can I not link to? I was gonna say, can I not link to fucking VK on this? All right, you're gonna have to sort yourselves out. VK works. I'm getting friend requests from random Russians now. Vyacheslav. It's a very, very Russian name. Anyways, you know, and my name on that is Joshua Moon, because there's no J in Russian. Anyways, whatever. Post seems to be the best current. Well, wonderful. Everybody switch over to Post. We'll have our own PeerTube instance one day. We should have gotten that set up at some point, but We're choking on fucking bandwidth. Though my yelling at the tech company to actually set up my router might have worked, because right before the stream I got an email saying that they're going to actually do it now, which for whatever that's worth, hopefully that will actually happen. I don't know, like it's like $2,000 a month. How many times do I have to tell a company I am going to withdraw from a $2,000 a month contract if you don't fucking set it up? Like, how much money do you make as a company where that kind of a threat is like completely empty? But I digress. Here, let's watch a wonderful little video that I was exposed to this week, and you're all gonna have to see too, unfortunately.
Oh, hello everyone. So I just wanted to showcase one of my newest projects, which is the Room of Holomyths. So as you can see, the ceiling is completely done alongside the floor and whatnot. And pretty much this room includes all of Holomyths members. So we have the wall of Ina, we have the wall of Kiara, then we have the wall of Amelia Watson, then the wall of Mori Calliope, and then we finally have the ceiling of Gura. So this took about 3 days to do. It's very similar to one of my other projects, which was the entire house of Sayaka Maizono, and yeah, it looks pretty surreal, you know, that this room is completely covered with just posters of Holomyths members. So yeah, it was fun doing and whatnot, and yeah, I think I'll do this again.
Is that Flamenco's room? Hopefully not. Hopefully he's not that far gone. I don't know why, but for whatever reason, the Harry Potter music really ties that video together. Like, it's something that you would add as a joke yourself, but it's a little bit beyond parody. Apparently, like, you know, okay, here's the thing. I always come across as like this jaded, cynical asshole on stream, and people are like, Josh, why are you so angry and miserable all the time? The truth is, I'm a secret optimist, and nobody knows this about me, because when I see a video like this, I assume, oh, this is a joke. This guy is like a weirdo, and he just wants to, you know, it's like critical mentioning dildos all the time. It's like, yeah, it's just like a joke. It's not like a real obsession with dildos, I don't think. But this guy is actually like this. He's apparently like a crypto millionaire, and he's a Happa. So genetics wise, he's completely fucked. And he decides, what am I going to do with my millions of dollars? I'm going to buy a mansion, and I'm going to plaster every single room as a shrine to anime shit. And that's what he's done. And there's some guy on the forum, some crazy person, who's like doing a deep dive into this guy to write up a thread about him. But spoiler alert. But after I posted this on the front page of the forum, he got like obsessed with it and looked at his TikTok and found out all this other shit about him. So very interesting times ahead for the VTuber community. Do these Odyssey bucks actually do anything? I'll just read that because I find that interesting. Fun story. Odyssey has its own cryptocurrency called Library, and it used to just be called the Library Project. And I was aware of the Library Project, but it was not ready for a long time. Primarily, it had an issue with child pornography, where you would just open up like library.net and you would just see child porn on the front page. And you're like, it's an interesting technology for like video sharing and shit with cryptocurrency tie-ins, but this obviously is not ready. And Odyssey and Library have like really serious problems in that there is no reward. Like, the main issue that a blockchain-based video sharing protocol has is that it is impossible. Well, I won't say impossible, but it's not been figured out yet how to reward people for sharing videos. Like, if you're gonna, like, because what it essentially is a torrent, like blockchain merge, right? So you want to tie money into torrenting so that people are paid for seeding a file, basically. That's what you would want ideally. But you can't really do that. There's no way to do that effectively to prove that people are actually supplying useful bandwidth and information to the protocol. So Library's token is essentially just a like a Chuck E. Cheese token that has value with the company, and it's very complicated legally, which is why the SEC has sued Library for securities related, non-compliance. And Library and Odyssey, tote this as like help save. The SEC is trying to classify cryptocurrency as a security instead of as a commodity, which has more regulations. But the truth is that Odyssey's business model, as it is more like a security than a commodity. Because it really is not a video sharing platform that is a cryptocurrency based like torrent or whatever. It is like the companies. It's like YouTube. If YouTube gave out tokens for uploading videos, so just a brief ramble about that. They're currently worth 2 cents each. They were worth much more, and then the SEC sued Odyssey or Library. Now they're worth 2 cents each. So me holding on to my Library tokens was another genius financial decision of mine. The stream date is wrong. Sorry, everything's going to be wrong. I'm all over the place today. Surprise, surprise. The issue with running 2 streams this week is not a lack of content, but a lack of Josh. I'm spread thin, chat. Oh, speaking of, I didn't even have this planned, but I have a box right here. It's very thick. Here, it's my box. And inside my box is an Arduino, which is an Italian single board computer with it's not like a Raspberry Pi that has an operating system. It has its own like compiled like firmware system. And I bought this for quite a bit of money because I'm here. I've never used like single board computers. I've never done like embedded programming, but I swear that I'm going to figure this out. There is a way to use Rust to write for Arduino. And I'm going to figure out a way to tie OBS to my board so I can light up lights depending on if I am recording, streaming, and muted. So I have a system worked out in my head that I'm going to figure out over the weekend. And I'm going to have a button on my desk that will light up red, or a LED that will light up red if I'm muted. So I will know if I'm muted. He's just one step away from becoming a VTuber. Oh, geez. There are people trying to send me down this dark path, and there are forces of light surrounding me trying to pull me back from the edge of the cliff. But it seems very fun to me to do my dog as a VTuber. I will not use Raspberry Pi. I don't know if any OG gamers are out there. But I remember during Gamergate, Raspberry Pi said that Nazis on 8chan were not allowed to buy Raspberry Pis, and only women of color were allowed to use Raspberry Pis. So I refuse to buy a Raspberry Pi. I will never use a Raspberry Pi. If I give up and decide to buy like a single board computer that has an operating system, I'll just buy like a knockoff Banana Pi or whatever the fuck from China. Because guess what? All those single board computers, they're made in China. So why would I buy a Chinese single board computer from California that tells me to go fuck myself at a premium instead of just buying directly from Shenzhen or whatever and giving the money straight to the hardworking Chinese people who actually make this shit to begin with? That's my belief. No red light. Okay, whatever. Raspberry Pi is UK. Oh god, it's even worse. I think I'd rather set myself on fire than give money to British people. Okay. Anyways, whatever. Alex Gleason. Oh no, wait, no. I was requested to read this first. This has become a meme in the sector. I don't know what to call it. I'm just going to call it the sector because that's what people call it. This is a thing, a machine learning generated script for the Kino Casino based off inputted text. And I believe... No, this is like... I don't know if they're direct quotes from the show at random or what. I think they're like direct quotes, but they're applied randomly. So I'm gonna read this. Okay, everything above the red line is real. Oh, it's a direct quote. It's a direct quote. It just seems disjointed as fuck because they're watching a video while talking over it. Okay, PPP says, "Look how Nick is eating that French fry. He's sucking the salt off it." Worst says, "Whoa, chat. This is what I was talking about." And PPP follows up by saying, "He's eating it gay." which is a bit strange. Warshi says, Medicare masochist with $20. And PPP follows up saying, whoa, $20. Anyways, look at Beardson's hat. Now, everything below this has been generated by a computer who has taken in this information and has predicted how this conversation could continue. It says, Worski, bee jams, and then parentheses, goes on a bee bomb. Now, what's interesting about this guess is that in this log, there's no parentheses actions. So this machine learning has seen a lot of like ERP and knows how to add an action to a line. And it does this by adding like parentheses around text. PPP says, fine, but Beardson and Nick are both eating tons of food? Question mark. Worski says, and carp turd. It clarifies that the bees are terrible. Beardson gets stung in the neck. I guess when he was out eating you eat French fries with Nick, and Nick's eating it gay, the bees are going to start stinging you. Worski says, bee jams. And PP says, let's go, champ. And Worski starts screaming at chat now, saying, whoa, chat, this is what I was talking about. Bee jams. PPP says, but hey, Polo and Slim and Babu, they seem to be having a good time, aren't they? And then Worski, I assume, screaming because he's still being stung by bees as this conversation is happening, saying, yes, they are. Bee jams. And PPP screams at him, Medicare masochist with $20. Again, second time, Worski says, I am scared. Why is he getting his money? This is scary, and I don't know why he is doing this. Bee jams. PPP collecting the $20 in hand and discrediting Worski's fears about Medicare masochist $20, says, that's a weird way to feel. And Worski continues to scream, bee jams. I'm scared. Bee jams. He says, see, that's the problem. He's just doesn't know while they're all laughing so much. And Worski again screams, bee jams. And that's the end. That aligns very closely with my knowledge of the Kino Casino. Josh streamed with PPP, Godwinson, and CRP once. They've dabbed on Tartsy's sister's nudes. That was a long time ago. Yeah, that was on Cal that her nudes linked, and everyone made fun of her nipples. I don't know why, but that sticks out in memory. That's what she gets for being related to Worski. I think she got catfished or something. I don't know. Anyways, I just want to read that because it was requested. Alex Gleason, as I mentioned, put out a brief post recently this week. If you don't know, Alex Gleason is both one of the lead developers of the Pleroma, though he has been kicked off of that, which is detailed in this little blog post. And he's also the admin of Spinster.xyz, which, if you don't know, is one of the largest Fediverse nodes and also a feminist node. It is, even though it's ran by a guy, he's a male feminist. He's a TERF, basically. It's a UK. That's more fair than to say it's like a feminist site. It's a UK TERF site, and Alex Gleason is like a UK TERF. So, all these women who have been banned off Twitter and Facebook and shit for calling out the Eternal Troon have taken up residence on Spinster, which is a very strange alliance with the other nodes on the Fediverse, but it's curated, and the Fediverse, timeline is like, it's very blacklisted, so a lot of like the porn sites and stuff aren't on their timeline, and it works out, which is the point of the Fediverse, is that people can tailor their nodes to how they like. Now, despite Alex Gleason's long contribution history with Pleroma, he has parted ways, and he has forked Pleroma to the Soapbox node, which we use as a front end to kind of, just to show you real quick. Soapbox.kiwifarms. We run both front ends, but we use Pleroma as the back end right now. Oh, I can't show you the. This is Pleroma, and Soapbox looks a lot more like the actual Kiwi Farms. I wonder if I can just show you my timeline and skip the login screen. Our Pleroma instance is kind of jank because Crunklord prefers Pleroma. Or yeah, so he doesn't want to like put in all the time to switch us over to Soapbox, but I'm trying to convince him to because I like it more. Like this is how it looks for Pleroma. This is how it looks for Soapbox. It looks a lot more like Twitter, like a conventional social media site, and this kind of looks like its own thing. But he details in his blog post that Pleroma was bootstrapped by a cam model like porn site with $2 million, and their team received that money for some time, and then eventually that cam site backed out. He establishes here Pleroma was created by a nice German man pretending to be an anime girl, and he goes by Lane. So the lead developer of Pleroma is Lane, which is why everything is like Lane theme, and the default username is Lane, and like when you go to make a tweet, the placeholder text is "Let's all love Lane," which is all references to a really, really, really shitty anime. In fact, now that I think about this, I'm gonna take a detour. I received in my email some time ago a message from somebody named Kurt Eichenwald at Kurt Eichenwald anime masturbator at gmail.com, and he sends me an email, and it is a genuine, I think 10-20 paragraph expository essay on Lane called Lane, a Dissertation. I will read you the first paragraph. I've never read this before. Dearest Josh, after our first correspondence and a treatise in defense of anime, it seems there is more to address in your fanatical hatred, namely a certain show that you have mentioned on several occasions, Lane Serial Experiments. It is ironic that a show so uniquely suited to someone of your line of work and so prescient for its time was released. For the time it was released, would go so unappreciated by you and many others. I know you to be a fat American and are thus incapable of interpreting media on any level other than literal narrative. So I've written this to be a very well-researched essay in order to convince you of Lane's undeniable brilliance, which was so obvious to me since the first minute of episode 1. Lane sucks. It is 8 fucking hours of and long shots of electrical like transformers outside, and it's basically a story about how a little girl tries to read her email but ends up becoming like an immortal like cybernetic goddess because she goes onto the computer. But it sucks, and it has a couple good songs in the OST, and that's it. So the only people who like Lane, who watch Lane, are trannies. Without any exception, Lane is for people who question their gender identity and want to become a computer goddess. It sucks. So, on that note, Alex Leeson is dealing with one of these troons who received $2 million from a company called My Free Cams to develop Pleroma, and this is what they got. And then after 2 years, they said, fuck that, we're done with that. Alex Leeson worked for free. I think he received a little bit of money. Nobody paid him, so he did it literally for free. Everybody point and laugh at him. Lane got paid $2 million and was already rich off cryptocurrency. And then Alex Gleason, for the honor of Miladies on Spencer.xyz, donated 300 commits to this funded project, which he received none of. And he copes by saying, I didn't want to receive porn money anyways, but that's a cope. Money is money. It's all dirty. If you take money and you test it for cocaine, you're going to find it. It's all drug money. It's all porn money. It's all oil money. It's all the handless children of African countries' money. Money's money. But he goes on to say that he was kicked off for being a transphobe because he contributes to Spencer, or he runs at Spencer XYZ. And funny enough, he points out, if you go to the homepage of their Pleroma site, they have a list of featured instances, and conspicuously missing is Spinster XYZ and KiwiFarms.cc, the two largest instances running Pleroma, because both of those sites happen to be not kosher with the transgender folks. And then he goes on. He complains. The main point of contention at the very end of his contribution cycle was that when he forked Pleroma so he could make Soapbox, he tried to submit a patch that could read metadata better, so that if you linked to a Soapbox site from Pleroma, the info box would correctly render the metadata from that page, which is a good commit to make. However, very, very, very childishly, the maintainers of Pleroma did not want to merge in this because they did not want Soapbox to have any more adaptation. It's literally one of the most petty and childish fucking things you could possibly imagine. So they parted ways mostly over that. And then he says, try Soapbox, which I would actually suggest. It's soapbox.kiwifarms.cc. Great site. We have great posters, such as Holocaust, who will responds to me every single time I post something, and I have him on mute because I have never, ever, 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 ever wanted to reply to any of his messages. So I just don't see them anymore. So there you go. There's my pitch. I have some more content related to the Fediverse here in a moment, but I'll get to that. Let me detour now to Wings of Redemption. I think I mentioned last stream, because it happened on Saturday, that Wings of Redemption was banned. And I guess I shouldn't have laughed at Wings. I then also got a strike on YouTube. But he was banned on YouTube and on Twitch for 1 week because he called somebody the D word. And of course, I mean Downey. And during that time, his wife also had a Twitch channel. And according to him, he was banned for ban evasion because of his wife's channel. But apparently his wife did not stream at all during the time that he was banned, or between the time that he was banned and when he received his permanent ban on Twitch. So if he does not, I think that he'll probably get his account back. I think that this is just people like mass reporting his fucking account, and some asshole who didn't want to deal with it just banned him. But it's like, you know, if not, he'll just switch back to YouTube, I guess. He's going to have a good time and have a good stream no matter what. The trolls can't keep him down. I'm rooting for my boy Jordy, because the people against him are bigger fucking retards than he is. That's the update on Wings of Redemption. I mentioned that I had a little bit of side content. Oh, I muted myself. I was trying to hide my live page so I could open my tab switcher secretly and not spoil it. But I mentioned I had some stuff that had happened recently that was not part of my usual rotation, suggested by one of the mods on the site. Weeks ago it was suggested, but now I'm getting around to it because why not? I don't know anything about this sector of the YouTube internet community. I know very little about it. But this is Squizxy. She is a chubby Korean thought. Australian Korean thought, technically. And her name is Hyojin Choi. She grew up in Australia, and she started publishing really hideous shit on DeviantArt like this. Meet the artist, Hyojin, she, they, likes monkeys, the gym, getting lung cancer, which I guess means she smokes. Because for some reason, Koreans still smoke. I don't know why. Dungeons and Dragons. Dislikes League of Legends and people who play League of Legends, which is very passe, whatever. She meets Pyrocynical, and who is another YouTuber. Well, she's not a YouTuber. She meets Pyrocynical, who is a famous YouTuber, and they kind of hit it off. This is a picture of them. I guess he's like a Nordic or like Dutch or something. I would guess Dutch, and she's like this little chubby Korean chick, so they look really awkward together. He looks like a libertarian in this picture. And I guess the relationship, I don't know, have details on their relationship on my notes, but I'm assuming that she was horrific to be around, because now he's like a gay furry fart fetishist who literally does not ask anyone their age or gender when he does fart role plays with them. So whatever she's done is like so terrible, that he no longer has any interest in like realistic sex. Now, she breaks up with Pyro, so they're no longer a thing. There's not like a lot of details about this. And she continues her own like internet career, mostly by just being a thought. She says here, and I just realized that her handle on Twitch or on Twitter is farting ballsack, which is very also random. She says, I can't wait for my nudes to be leaked because they look really good and my honkers are huge. Someone hack into my Discord and leak my nudes. Do it. I don't fucking care. And a lot of her stuff is just like Coomer baiting, like June-esque. Like, haha, I'm a hoe slut, but I'm not desperate enough to open an OnlyFans yet because you guys still give me your money as it is, and I don't need to. But she maintains some relevance, and then in 2019, her friend Che alleges that Slazo, another popular YouTuber, he does like really inoffensive, shitty like comedy videos on YouTube, raped her friend, and they published this Google Doc expose, which was really popular, specifically in 2019. There was like 8 of these Google Docs, I was raped by a YouTuber things, published like one after the other. And the evidence for this is mostly just really benign chat logs, which prove absolutely nothing. And Slazo still gets canceled. But one of the accusers is a guy named I'm Alex, who, from what I understand, was Slazo's roommate at the time that the rape allegedly occurred. So he's now on the side of cancel Slazo for this rape, which happened at a convention that I'm Alex was also at the time that they were roommates. And he apparently knew nothing about this and then tries to cancel him years later. But then somebody in the group of accusers leaks a DM, and the DMs prove that Hyojin, the Asian chick, is trying to actively maliciously conspire to ruin Slazo for no apparent reason. Just outright saying, I want to fuck with his career, and they manipulated the evidence. They kind of took things out of context to make them look worse than they were, and she personally edited the Google Doc to make it more effective as a hard-hitting accusation. Turkey Tom does a video on this, defends Slazo, and leaks his own things from accusers in his DMs. From what I understand, the accuser is anonymous, that says she was abusive to her dog because, of course, she's Asian, and dogs are food and accessories only, not friend. But this is enough where Slazo is spared cancellation. And this is my boy here, weighing if the Asian girl was worth it. He ate the rice. He paid the price. He's lucky to get away with his head attached to his shoulders. But as I mentioned, Hyojin continues onward. She acts like a hoe. She makes some jokes about starting an OnlyFans and how she'll post her nudes if Bernie Sanders gets elected, and that's basically her entire like career, is saying shit like this. And then finally, recently, her ex-boyfriend known as Ed accuses her of abusing him psychologically. I said psychically in my notes. Like she was tormenting him with psi powers, which I assume must have been a thing, because I don't know how you can physically abuse somebody. Because he also accused her of physical abuse, which I mean, I guess she's like she can like slap him and punch him and throw shit at him, but I don't know. She's very small. I feel like you should have the backbone to walk away. Ed did not, and decides to cancel her. And it works. People believe that she is a menace and is physically and emotionally abusive. And also leaks like this where she says, "No, you stupid fucking neighbor. Fuck you, you piece of shit. You are the worst person I've ever spoken to. I hope you fall in the toilet, you backwards ass eating self-human centipede neighbor looking ass Canadian beaver teeth looking ass shithead. Get a life in the sewers and make a living off drinking the cancer leaking out of your colon love tunnel, you dirty sand neighbor." So tweets like this made people think she must be a bad person and it's time to least racist Asian person. It's funny because it's true. So she gets canceled. And then she publishes after 2 weeks of silence on August 2nd, so 10 days ago. She comes out of the quiet zone and she says this. "Hey, Ed, I want you to know that I am sorry. I've been going to therapy for a bit, and I'm still on that journey. I've seen progress in myself, but I still want to push for more change. I'm sorry for not making that change earlier. It would have prevented so much pain that I have caused. I'm sorry. Ed had every right to post this because victims are allowed to talk about their abusers, especially if it'll help with the healing process. I'm not saying that this fixes everything, of course. I just know that it needed to be posted. This is all completely fair and justified. I felt like my private apology to Ed was sincere, but I get why it didn't come across that way, and my snap reaction was just me being a cunt. There's nothing I can do to undo the things I've done, and I'm disappointed, angered, and sickened. And I've disappointed, angered, and sickened people with what I have done. I'm sorry, and I don't want this to happen again. I look at the person I was a couple years ago, and even if I have changed, those were my actions, and I understand that this is deserved. Actions have repercussions, and every bad decision I've made has hurt people. I know that no matter how much I've changed in the future, that I'll still be that person in people's eyes. I'm sorry for all that. There isn't much more I can say other than that I'm sorry. I'm going to reflect on this for a long time and take a very, very long break. I'm not going to come back till I'm better. I just hope that I can show that change clearly for people to see in the future." That last line reads like a quick Christian thing in his apologies. Like, I'm going to meditate on this and consult with the gods, and I'll get back to you in a bit. So such is the cycle of e-fame. You start out on DeviantArt making weird furry porn of your favorite YouTubers. And then they finally talk to you, and you become a little bit e-famous because you're hanging out with famous people. And then you accuse somebody of rape, and then somebody accuses you of being an abusive asshole. And then you disappear for a little while, and I guess you started OnlyFans in a year. And that's it. That's the story of Hyojin Choi, also known as Squizxy. There's apparently a whole circle of weird drama in the pyrocynical sphere, and I don't know anything about pyrocynical because I am not a furry, and only furries seem to know about pyrocynical. So I'm assuming he's like a weird popu fur, as they like to call them. Play the bit where she talks about anal prolapse. Where? Is that in the thread? What anal prolapse? This? Make up with Slazo. It's not in the thread. I can't find it. I'll just search prolapse. Oh, here. From P's deck. Okay, let's see what this is. 2 minutes. Here we go. Hello. Can you guys hear anything?
Get to you, buddy, but I farted so hard I prolapsed is not an improvement
it's
on I
worse.
farted so hard I shat myself.
It's so much worse.
I also didn't prolapse.
You
It
just
sounds
said
like
you did.
prolapsed.
Is prolapsing the one where it goes inside out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't-
prolapse
I-
is when your ass. Oh wait,
Yeah,
yes it
idiot.
is.
That's not fair.
Have you
deserve
seen
each
that
other.
video on?
No.
No, don't, no.
Centipede?
Don't call it a centipede.
That's crazy
fuck.
that all of that was just censored.
I know, I was about to say.
Holy fuck.
I always thought it looked like a red slinky.
Ed, the
I said
recording of
worse.
you saying the N-word is gonna be in this.
Oh,
is
it
gonna be in this
does- now that you
podcast so much.
That ooh, she's grating. That's the first time I've heard her talk. That's fucking grating. She's on her way to become a VTuber.
Be in this
Now that you
podcast so much.
A Paul stretched N-word.
Now that you mention it, it does look more like a red slinky than a red centipede. You're
I
right.
hate. Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
you know, like
Yojin,
traffic
once
cones,
again,
like,
you know how
imagine
you know how you keep going. Why can't I have a regular conversation? Why does everyone tell me to shut up? It's because
Imagine
of
a
this.
traffic cone, but it's like kind of look like that, like an
shut
upside down
up!
traffic cone.
No, it's not a traffic cone. Traffic cones have like an angle to them.
This
is
is
more
I like how the other people in this conversation are just like, you know how everybody tells you to shut the fuck up? Like, yeah, I can imagine.
traffic cone. Traffic cones have like an angle to them.
This
is more like a
isn't going
tube.
in. I veto this.
Oh, like those old toys that, like, when you squeeze them, they just shoot up.
I veto this shit.
No, it's not. It's not fast either. It's
I
like
also
dude
veto.
worm.
What's
I
the worst thing you
veto.
sent in a group chat?
I'm gay.
David,
I would drive a Honda CRV through this crowd of people.
dinner at your parents is not a group chat.
Hang on, and we're back, David.
And they had to kick her out of the group chat, I guess. She was too obnoxious. Wasn't Flamenco into prolapse? Am I remembering that correctly? That's a lofty accusation. You can't just say somebody's into prolapse like that. No, I don't know why. The words flamenco and prolapse are just connected in my brain. There's some squishy gray matter there. It's like sticky tack between your fingers. He likes anal prolapse sucking even. No. You're full of shit. Well, that's a power couple. I ship that. You get this annoying bitch a fucking VTuber avatar and you hook her up with flamenco. Now that's a million subscribers on YouTube. That's a power couple. That's a gold play button. I'm shipping this. I am officially submitting my ship with the UK Bureau of Ships, and this is how do I Hyojin Choi or Squizxy and flamenco. Joshua Choi Flaxy. I need a word for the ship. Flamjin Choi. There we go. Flamjin Choi. Make it happen. Hey, you want to ship Chantal with Noi? You're really fucking late with that. Isn't she already at him? Is she really? Who the fuck would subscribe to this woman? 94 videos registered December 25th, 2012. And she has 965,000 on YouTube. That is fucking nuts. How is this a thing? Okay. You know what? We're gonna watch a video. Because now I'm morbidly curious. What the fuck? How this person has 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Okay, so apparently that yellow thing... Okay. Coomer bait. That's what it is. She has a channel that has like the SEO for kids, but then she uses like things like this that for thumbnails, and young like preteens and stuff will click it and subscribe because they hear a woman and they think it's funny. That's what it is. Gaining sentience 1 month ago. Okay, I'll play this.
Do you guys remember the first time you gained sentience? You know, it's when you transition from a drooling meat baby to a conscious human being with thoughts.
Was this like a
So you go
essay?
from ooh ooh I want milky milky to
I was neurologically wired to look around for berries and nuts and just vibe for the rest of time. And now I'm
now from what I've read.
So she's just like an animator and she makes little comedy sketches. Oh, okay. Whatever, I get it. I'm going with my initial thing is that this stuff is what gets the subscribers there. Oh, and then like pandering to Five Nights at Freddy's and shit. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, I'm done talking about the Asian. We will continue with the show. because there's very serious matters to attend to this week. I have to talk about how a poor trans woman's life is in danger. Well, I'll let them speak for themselves for approximately 15 seconds.
On August 5th, I was woken up by London police services pointing an assault rifle in my face at my home. I was told later that at 6 a.m. that morning, an email impersonating me was sent to every city councillor in the City of London, Ontario, stating that I have an illegal firearm, that I killed my mother, and that I plan to go to City Hall and shoot every cisgender person I see. I was shown the email while I was being interrogated in police custody. While the emails were riddled with grammatical errors and read more like something a troll would say than something I would sincerely say, the police took it seriously.
Okay, I'm making a very important video addressing the whole world about the injustices I've been faced with. How do I do this? Step A, I sit in my gamer room. Step B, I fold my arms to make my man tits bigger and more, I don't know what you would say. They're definitely pressing their man boobas together to hide, I guess to hide that third boob that likes to show up every so often. You can still very easily see it though. Because the booba like thing looks, it's usually like a Y. It's like very even, but on Keffals it's like some really weird looking claw, like a crab claw shape as opposed to like a Y shape. Step 3, stare directly into the camera and read the script on the TV screen. Do not break eye contact. Do not blink. Look deep into the soul of the listener and intimidate them. So basically they got swatted, they got police pranked, and this is their mission statement. I'll just skip ahead, the rest isn't. They basically say that they got dead named, they felt afraid for their life, the police were mean, and they should have known better, and then they ended with this brief mission statement that I'll play in its entirety.
Move immediately, recoup my losses, to GoFundMe to do this alone. I started a GoFundMe to move immediately, recoup my losses, and build a legal fund to protect my rights. I have been subject to emotional damages, financial damages, blatant violations of the Human Rights Act, and discrimination on the basis of gender identity and expression. I was also subject to unjust seizures, which not only affected my livelihood, but has severely disrupted the work that my fiancé is doing in their doctorate program, and has the potential to impact whether or not my fiancé finishes their doctorate. Because there is no policy in my city against swatting, there is no guarantee this will not happen again, and my home is not safe. If you are a journalist or someone who works in media and you want to reach out to me for comment, you can reach me at inquiries@keffals.info. I'll leave all additional information and links in the description. I do not yet know when I'm going to be returning to broadcasting on Twitch. When I was woken up by police officers and saw the assault rifle pointed at me, I thought I was going to die. I feel traumatized. I just want everyone to know what happened and to ask for help so I can seek justice for what happened to me.
Sorry, I had a knock at the door and I had to go get it. I had an urgent package delivered and couldn't wait. Anyways, yes. So that's the gist. They got swatted. First thing, what do? Stare deeply into the eye. Say, if you wanna reach me, you can email inquiries@keffals.info, or you can cut the head off a chicken and draw a pentagram on your floor, and I will be there with you in spirit, and you can make your wish to me. And then, of course, I will get to the GoFundMe in a bit, but let us detour and show you the press kit. Yes. See, when they got swatted, they disappeared. There's a great murmur in the air. Where did Keffals go? Keffals tweets 20 times a day, every day. Why is there's no tweet from Keffal? And it comes out 2 days later, not only with this video, this excellent video, but a full press kit with contact information, README, the transcript of the video, the actual video, so you can play clips of it on your broadcasting station, photos of the property bags that show that Roberts was listed, which was the Lucas Roberts is his birth name and is what was written on the evidence bags. So He complains that they were dead naming him intentionally to cause him grief, and then a copy of the warrant to search the residence. Very, very professional. So as you can see, this happened, and somebody called somebody who received a tip on how to put together a press kit so that when this got covered, there would be the information ready to go. Part of this, by the way, was changing their at sus Keffals to a at Keffals backup for PR purposes, easier to find, because they didn't have access to the Keffals Twitter because it was on their phone. They didn't have their two-factor. So they changed it to at sus Keffals, or their at sus Keffals to Keffals backup. And then immediately somebody takes Keffals' old Twitter handle and tweets at Ralph, saying Ralph was right about everything. He gets a reply. This immediately got banned, but it was pretty funny. Then, when he had announced that his devices had been seized by the police, the moderators for the Keffals Discord shit themselves in fear. And Catboy Collector announces at everyone, "We've just purged all the channels. We'll be reevaluating safety measures going forward, as well as implementing new and more comprehensive measures. There will be a lot of eyes on the community right now. Watch what you post." So they deleted everything, including the entire Trans Elder Advice Discord channel was deleted. And this did reach the news. Here is Global Toronto featuring a story about our Keffals.
The community that I...
By the way, in case you're wondering, this is what Keffals actually looks like when you have neutral lighting on them and no filters. Just a regular camera. They have to throw so much shit on their fucking videos to look like this. And this is not very impressive as it is.
One of the
But look, you can just tell. This is warm colors, filters on the face. Switch over to actual. This is how they look.
Built online.
Oh, and the angles too to hide the double chin. How fat they are.
That's the only time we ever felt like a normal teenager.
Wait, hold up. Let's hear that again. I talked over it.
The community that I built online was the only time we ever felt like a normal teenager. And
I just wanted to have a good stream, have a good day. I just need that fucking surgery. I just wanted it so bad.
The target on my back is because of that.
Claire Sorrenti says a false email with her address was sent to London City Council claiming she had killed her mother and was intending to shoot people at City Hall who were straight. The email, Sorrenti says, had given out her real address and resulted in police with guns at her doorstep and her being arrested.
When I went into the hallway and then saw that assault rifle, I screamed and I thought I was going to die.
London Police Service confirmed
That's
the arrest
important.
to Global News.
Play it again.
I thought I and saw that assault. I went into the hallway and then saw that assault rifle. I screamed and I thought I was going to die.
First story from the press release. I was woken up by police officers with guns in my face, which sounds like I opened my eyes and there was a policeman in my bedroom pointing an assault rifle directly at my face as I slept. Second story on Global News. I went out into the hallway and there was an armed SWAT team or whatever special weapons officer, high threat officer in my house pointing a gun at me.
London Police Service confirmed the arrest to Global News. They added Sorrenti was released without charges and they are continuing to analyze her electronic devices, but could not offer any more information. Sorrenti says the hate she's been facing is because of her prominence as a trans woman and activist.
They want me dead because I'm a high-profile transgender activist. There's a big target on my back, and for the past year, transgender people have been at the focal point.
That cut! Oh, it's perfect! Cutting from the fucking angles and the colors and everything right to the actuality from their cameras.
because I'm a high-profile transgender activist. There's a big target on my back, and for the past year, transgender people have been at the focal point of a culture war.
It's not just the doxing, but Sorrenti takes issue with London Police Service's handling of the incident. Evidence bags she showed Global News indicates police use her dead name, the birth name she had before transitioning, which is considered highly offensive. She also claims police asked her if she was a she and to explain dead naming.
The way that I was treated by the police really showed me they know nothing about transgender people or issues.
Police told Global News that this is an active investigation, but despite being a prominent name online and having run for office provincially and federally, Sorrenti thinks police's actions are driven by ignorance.
So I had a hate crime perpetrated against me, and instead of the police
That sneer! Look at that AGP's sneer! I had a hate crime perpetrated against me. You can tell I'm really serious about this because I got my lips parted on one side.
Police helping me, they victimized me for it.
As for the trolls and hate mongers, Sorrenti says she remains undeterred.
I'm not backing down. I know that the work I do is incredibly valuable, and thousands of trans people have told me that. I have people almost every day saying they came out to their families because of me. And if they want me to stop, the next time they better manipulate the police into pulling the trigger.
As we mentioned, the response to this story has been overwhelming on social media, and on Sorrenti's end, the story is not yet over. She's waiting for London Police Service to finish their investigation and told Global News she plans to sue. Alan?
That's right, Canada. You're gonna pay. You're gonna pay what you owe. Pay, pay, pay. You better pay your fucking taxes, because you're gonna pay what you owe, boy. You gotta pay for that lawsuit. So, interesting stuff is more to be said. The police statement was issued. There's been two, actually. The first one was a statement by the police saying that they apologize for any harm, but they're taking matters seriously because there were threats issued to political figures within Canada, and they, of course, are going to take that seriously. They said that the armed police were a precaution that is usually given in high threat situations, and that the police, even though they are armed, are trained in de-escalating situations, because the police in Canada, they receive copious amounts of training on how to take somebody who is at risk, to, to themselves, to the public, and to talk them down, walk them back. And that's pretty common. It's pretty typical. Like I know, like in Germany, there was 1 year. I think like the police in Germany kill like 2 people a year total. Like for the entire country, the law enforcement in places like France and Germany, they kill like 2 people. Even though there's millions of guns in those countries, they only kill like 2 people. So whatever they do works, and probably they don't have as many black people, so they can get away with that. But this is the second statement, and it's a bit more in depth. This is after, I believe, Keffals got their devices back from the police, and the police chief personally issued this statement because the media outreach had kind of grown. Lots and lots of blue check marks on this. Kind of at an intersection of like rage about trans shit and rage about swatting. Police Chief Steve Williams says, further to my statement yesterday, I would like to share an update in relation to this incident. As a result of further investigation, we do not believe that the threatening emails received from the City Hall officials originated from Ms. Sorrenti. We believe that there is a deliberate attempt by a third party to place suspicion on Ms. Sorrenti in relation to what we are now believed to be false threats to harm people at City Hall. This is sometimes referred to as swatting. With this determination made, Ms. Sorrenti was released unconditionally from custody, and all of her belongings have been returned to her. I have directed members of our Criminal Investigation Division to commence an investigation into the origin of the emails sent to the city officials with the goal of identifying the person or persons responsible and laying out the appropriate charges. As this investigation will be complex and may potentially involve multiple jurisdictions, it will take some time. I can't comment on anything further. I can share some information regarding the initial police response to the threats received. Regards a 911 call in regards to the email, and then they take it seriously. They show up, and then they went to Sorrenti's house, and it says here, officers did not conduct what is sometimes referred to as a dynamic entry into Sorrenti's residence. Rather, they knocked on the door, announced themselves as police officers, and occupants answered. Any time by uninvolved third parties to suggest otherwise is inaccurate and irresponsible. Sorrenti was arrested for uttering threats based on information had at that time. Sorrenti was polite and cooperative. So the first story about being woken up with guns pointed at them in bed is fake. The second story, where they were met in the hallway by police officers with guns, is also fake. According to the police, Sorrenti woke up, walked to the front door, answered the door, and then were met by police there. He goes on to say that the police did have guns visible, but as I said, they are trained, so the guns are not pointed at Sorrenti. They are pointed at the ground, and then when they deal that there's no threat, they put the weapons away, he says. So the accusation that the weapons were pointed at Sorrenti is also false, and I guarantee you that they have video to prove that. So if they're going to go into lawsuits and say the police traumatized me by pointing a gun at me, that's also not going to be the case, because that does not seem to be true. He does say, I acknowledge that for the average citizen, heavily armed police attend your residence would be traumatic, and he apologizes for the inconvenience. And then in this paragraph, he says, this brings me to allegations as to how Ms. Sorrenti was addressed during her time in the London police custody, using the incorrect name, quote, her dead name, and gender. While I cannot confirm any conversations which might have transpired during Ms. Sorrenti's initial arrest, activity in our holding cells is monitored by audio and video equipment. At no time while she was in our holding cells did members of our police service address Ms. Sorrenti by her dead name and gender. I have personally reviewed the recordings and found our officers were polite, respectful, and professional. The reference to Ms. Sorrenti's former name appears to stem from the existence of prior police reports. When an individual comes into contact with police for whatever reason, an entry is made into our records management system using the name provided at that time. That report is merged with prior reports, if any, involving the same person with the same date of birth. Where an individual has a change of name or has a nickname or alias, those would be linked to the primary name on file. Police are not normally notified when someone legally changes their name. It appears the bag in which Miss Sorrenti's personal property was held was labeled with her dead name for tracking purposes. I recognize that this explanation may not please everybody. The situation highlights for us the need to develop a mechanism to ensure accuracy in our record keeping, recognizing that, as in Miss Sorrenti's case, anything otherwise can be hurtful and disrespectful, which is never our intent. For this, I have apologized to Miss Sorrenti. In the coming weeks, I will ensure a solution is implemented to avoid any repeat of this type of situation in the future. So, there you go. No gun pointed at Keffals, not woken up by dynamic entry. There was no FBI open up with maple leaves and bottles of syrup flying all over the fucking place. Knock knock, hello, under a west for uttering twats, ooh. And then, I accidentally dead named you because of our computer system being wrong. Well, we'll fix that. So you better pay up, PPP. You better pay your fucking taxes, because not only are you paying for this lawsuit now, you're also going to be paying for the record management system of the Canadian police to be updated so that the bags don't get labeled with dead names. Well, by the way, if you're wondering what the wages of sin are, in Keffals' case, it's $85,000. 85,000 Canadian dollars, which whatever. Let's say to USD is at this point $67,000. So $67,000. Keffals said that they needed money for a legal fund, and their initial goal was 10,000 Canadian dollars, and they've raised it to by 10,000 every single time the goal has been met. So they've met their goal many times over, but it still says, that they haven't met their goal yet. So, you're clicking into this thinking, I'm going to go help the legal fund. Oh, they need $90,000 and they're already $85,000 there. I'll donate, $2,000 like this guy did. And then $90,000 gets met, and it gets bumped up again to $100,000, and other people think that, and the grift never ends. So really, between the media release and the video and the press statement and the public appearances and the fucking GoFundMe and the way that's been handled with like multiple people online to make sure there's like 3 people involved, making sure that this is all going according to plan. Really professional grifting in a way that would make members of IP2 blush. Like, oh my God, this is how it's done. So that's almost it. However, I've seen these pictures and I've never seen them before, so I'm going to share them. This is a clip from the news. He's been interviewed by multiple news agencies. Look at that gamer hump. You are not a true gamer until you've got yourself a hump like that. Also, this picture I love because it's like you never really appreciate like how much a troon doesn't pass until you're seeing them in full, like in a medium long shot like this where you can see them from the knees up. It's never quite obvious how much these gamer troons don't pass until you can actually see them. Because you see like this and you're like, well, they look kind of sussy baka, but with their, their third boob thing going on there. But, it's like, what? It passes okay, I guess. It could be an ugly woman. And then usually if you ever find yourself in that gray area, it's like, it could be a woman. It's almost never a woman, number one. Number two, the moment you see them from any distance and any lighting that's less than perfect, you're like, oh my God, that's a man. Especially like, look at this. See this? That's Keffals. That's how Keffals actually looks. And then you go over to Google and you type in middle-aged Italian man. And you go to images. And let's pick one. Oh, this guy right here. This is a dead ringer. This could be Papa Keffals. Look at this. That is a middle-aged Italian man, and that's Keffals.
Was the only time.
Wait, Keffals? I'll do it this way. Keffals, Italian man. Keffals, Italian man. Hey, we got ourselves a dead ringer here. Perfect, amazing. It's just right on the money. Goes to Bing. I use free software and not Google. Okay. But yeah, there's that. Oh God, this popped up out of me. Get away from me. I'm gonna try to break it. Okay, perfect. And then finally, we need to remember why this money exists. Keffals says he needs it for the legal fund and buying a house, and with $65,000, he sure as fuck can put down money for a house, even in Canada, I assume. But we need to remember what we're fighting for. We're fighting for the trans youth. And this is the hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish by Little Miss Hot Mess. Let's learn. And this is, the comments are turned off, but it's important to note, chat, that the comments are not turned off because this person can't handle the transphobes out there, the big cyber bullies saying whatever they're going to say. It's because it's for YouTube for kids. This video is on YouTube for kids, which means it's been explicitly marked as being produced for children, and that is why the comments are off, because all comments for YouTube for kids are disabled. So let's take a second and watch the hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish. I've not watched this at all. This is a request, so I'm gonna watch it live with you for the first time. Statement from the W9. Oh God, this is great. This is like a FBI warning for the fucking Let's Kid video. Let's Learn is a public television series produced in partnership by public media company the WNET Group and the New York City Department of Education. Wonderful, the New York City Department of Education. I love those guys. The series was made available to public television stations nationwide. Stations are free to broadcast at their discretion or not. It is not funded or distributed by PBS. Interesting. PBS said, you got to put this fucking label on. We don't want to be associated with this. Okay. I want to see. Oh my God, there's more. It's like a multi-slide fucking warning that PBS has nothing to do with this. The series features a variety of educational segments that span the curriculum, including math, foundational reading, science, storybooks, music, movement, and art, and also drag queen hips, I guess. Let's Learn storybooks are selected by early literacy experts at the New York City Department of Education. The program strives to incorporate themes that explore diversity and promote inclusivity, which are relevant to education and society. I'm feeling very inclusive right now. Drag is a performance. Oh, thanks. I need this to be explained to me like I'm a fucking retard. Drag is a performance art that can inspire creative thinking and the questioning of stereotypes. Little Miss Hot Mess is the author of the book The Hips on the Drag Queen Go Swish Swish Swish. She serves on the global leadership team of Drag Queen Story Hour and has hosted readings at numerous libraries, children, museums, and schools across the country. And let's share a story.
Hi, everybody. My name is Little Miss Hot Mess, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I am a drag queen and a children's book author. And you may be wondering to yourself, what on earth is a drag queen?
No.
Well, don't worry, because I'm going to tell you. Drag queens, we are everyday people who love to play pretend and dress up as often as we can. We love to wear shiny, sparkly outfits with all of our sequins and all of our glitter and a lot of jewelry and maybe a little too much makeup and big hair and big personalities. We like to
Trying to find out if this
perform on
person's
stage.
Jewish.
We like to sing and dance and tell jokes. Sometimes we like to lip sync, which is when we move our mouths to other people's songs.
I'm gonna skip ahead.
But drag queens also
Let's skip to where the
are
book
leaders
is.
in our community. And if you ask me,
No, a drag is. I don't need you to tell me.
beautiful pictures of queens, and then we're gonna dance it out together if you're able. So let's start by meeting some of our fabulous performers. We have Free to Be Me. We've got Jacqueline Jill. We've got Stinkerbell. We've got Rita Book. We've got Mother Lucy Goosey.
There's like multiple. I'm looking at my books. He's also written "If You're a Drag Queen and You Know It." Oh, and what I really love about the cover of this book is the main drag queen featured is number one, has like a sailor tattoo, so I guess he's like a U.S. Marine Corps, and you can tell he's from the U.S. Marine Corps because he's also crippled by his service. Thank you for your service, sir, and have fun at the gala. They gave him a fish thing because he can't walk. He's a mermaid because he can't walk.
Peanut butter gelée, Rosie Ringarounda, and last but not least, LMNOPP. And if some of those names sound a little bit silly to you, you are totally right. Drag queens, we often like to have funny sounding names because we like to add a little humor whenever we can and show that sometimes we don't have to take everything so seriously. Although drag can be a very serious
I want to hear the story. Read the story.
Just gonna swish them from side to side. Swish, 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 swish.
Why does the drag queen for the children book have like a skull tattoo? I'm just imagining like a drag queen like a children's book, like a totem cop like tattoo on there. Like you can't do that. You have to cover that up. You have to put something else on top of that, sir.
Swish, swish. The hips on the drag queen go swish, swish, swish all through the town.
Does the drag queen, the black one, have to be so fucking horrifying? I would be scared. If you were showing me this, as a little kid, I would be fucking scared of that. It looks like a demon. That with the beard and like the dark skin and the weird dragon tattoo and the fucking stiletto shoes. This looks like a goat, like a satanic, like a satyr or something. With with a little billy goat beard on, and he just looks scary as fuck. He looks like a little demon.
And you're going to notice that as more and more queens parade through this town, it goes from being a little bit gray and ordinary to being a little extra bright and colorful. Next up is the hair. The hair on the drag queen goes up, 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 up.
It's a Super Saiyan.
Up. That's because drag queens, we love
Is that
big
voiced
hair
by
and big
Vic
wigs.
Mignogna? Does he do the screaming? Ah! Oh no, they're all Super Saiyans now. Look, you can even see like the little strands of power, and the ground's gonna crack underneath them.
The shoes on the drag queen go stomp, stomp, stomp. like you're walking down a fashion runway. Stomp, 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 stomp. Let me hear it.
Okay, I'm done with this. Is there anything? Let me skim through real quick. See if there's another cripple fish that I have to laugh at. Okay, there they all together, going through the town. I like how this, by the way, all through the town. Da, 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 da. That's an existing thing. So it's not even like let's make a new original kid song. This is like let's take an existing song, make it about tranny shit, and get the worst illustrator ever to draw a bunch of demons with like totem cop tattoos on their arms and stuff. And then we'll just sell this to kids. And let's see, I'm so cynical. There's like, yes, these are like real demons. This is like a demon person trying to rape kids. I believe that. But then the other cynical, practical side of me is like, I see the money in this. And I know for a fact that with ISIS and other like extremist Islam groups, what they like to do is they like to publish books. And then they launder money through the book publishing. So, you know, Muhammad Durka Jihad, whatever the fuck, Salim Ibn Islam, publishes a book called Why Israel is Not a Legitimate State. And then Turkey and Iran and you know, whatever the fuck, Egypt, they buy like 1 million copies of this book and they put one in every library in their country. And this happens in the US too. This is how politicians do this. It's why every single politician ever has written a book. Obama's done it, Trump's done several, Hillary Clinton's done several. They all write a book. Why? Because the libraries say this person, you know, the US government buys these politicians' books and they put in the library, even though nobody will ever read the memoirs of Hillary Clinton. The US government buys it anyways. So I'm just thinking, tranny shit, it's like this hot commodity. We'll, you know, pay for this foundation and we'll print this book. It'll be lazy, slapped together piece of shit that nobody will fucking buy. But then all the libraries in the country will buy it, like 10 copies and put it on the shelves. And that's like $1 million. And this person makes $1 million and splits it with their kosher friends in New York City. And it's just like, that's how they make their money. Yeah, money laundering. That's what it is. It's just a way to get taxpayer money. And it's like nobody watches this, nobody gives a fuck, nobody watches, you know, kids don't watch public access television anymore. It's not the Sesame Street. They go watch you know, Elsa getting impregnated by Spider-Man on YouTube like normal people. They don't watch this shit. So there's my cynical take on this. It's like, yeah, like the fact that some children are exposed to actual demons is like a side effect. It's like a coincidence as opposed to the main purpose of this money laundering scam. Anyways, so Ralph, just some brief comments about Ralph. He released this embarrassing new t-shirt. I don't know who told him that sucking on a big fat turd like that makes him look cool, but I can't see nothing. Like, I don't know, like, I guess Rush Limbaugh. When I think of, like, cigar smokers, Rush Limbaugh is the first guy to jump to mind. I know Kennedy smoked Cubans, but, like, Rush Limbaugh smoked a cigar. Probably some guy in WWE probably smoked cigars, but I'm very Freudian about this. I see that BBC, that big brown cigar, that giant turd sitting between his fucking lips. I'm like, that does not make you look cool. That makes you look like you're sucking shit to get cancer because, you know, somebody else did, because Rush Limbaugh did. But he slaps this on a t-shirt and nobody fucking buys it. I really don't know what the point is. Nobody buys this shit. It all looks like fucking garbage. But more interestingly is this. Oh, well, this comment. I can't wait for the Aborsky face down, ass up shirts after Salt Pappy beats him down to 50 IQ, Lamau. And then Ralph says, guaranteed shirt, haha. So I guess he's going to do a shirt where Worski is like showing his anus on the front of his shirt. I really don't understand it. Like, who buys this shit? He must make, I bet you he makes almost no fucking money off this merch shit. Like maybe $80 off a new design or something. It's more just a way to like try and troll people he doesn't like. But more interestingly is this. Ralph says in regards to the ongoing custody drama, he says, Xander will soon join the ranks of the Vickers family members who have called me daddy. Sunglasses, smiling emoji. Very, very, very creepy. Xander will join the ranks of Vickers family members who have called me daddy. That does not sound cool. That does not sound like I'm going to regain custody of my kid. That sounds sexual, and I'm not okay with it. I don't know how the fuck you thought that was a good idea, but it's very, very cringe. I know I'm not saying he's the big P, but his desperate attempt to try and piss off Vickers is just like the creepiest backfire possible. Ethan continues. These two have used my son as an online weapon for well over a year. They've used his name explicitly to attack me, lie about me, etc. I won't be deleting my joke, cry more. After what these people have said about me and my family, they get zero consideration from me. This is in reply to Faith Vickers saying, Ethan Ralph, I'm asking you publicly, since it takes your attorney so long to respond, to delete this tweet. If you're happy we've reached any agreements, fine, but equating my infant to your sexual fetishes and kinks makes me incredibly uncomfortable. I have notified attorneys as well. And Vicious Vickers replies also saying, apparently lolly enthusiast Amanda Morris has been training convicted sex offender Ethan Ralph. Two disgusting degenerates. Or two fucking disgusting degenerates, because I guess they are indeed fucking. At least every so often in between black hookers, Ralph will clean out the catacombs down there as a public service. That's his community service. Ethan Ralph, I sentence you to 2 weeks community service. You will have sex with May so that she stops annoying the other horses on the ranch. And Ralph finalizes by saying, oh, and if anyone wants to hold up signing the agreement, go ahead and do it. It will just be proving me right about what I've been saying this entire time. Muck out the stables. So the gambit here is pretty fucking obvious. So Ralph signed that agreement where he said, like, I'll pay $800 and yada, 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 supervised visit. That's a huge pain in the ass, and he doesn't want to spend that money. So what's the best way to look like he's trying to make things right and not be a deadbeat dad while still being a deadbeat dad? Just agree to something softly. Don't actually start like signing up and doing it or whatever the fuck. And then immediately backtrack, start making weird, creepy comments about having Xander call him daddy. Piss off everybody involved, and then he can say, look, I did everything I could, but they try to keep me from my son. It's just not fair. You know how them California courts is and all. Those fucking liberal judges over there putting up every obstacle they can to stop me from seeing Xander. Very interesting. Very interesting. And that's it. That's it for Ralph. We don't have to talk about Ralph all that much today. I do have a special thing. I've not mentioned this anywhere. This is low key. This is primo content that nobody has heard of before now. But as many of you will know, especially if you checked the site yesterday was August 11th, which is the 4th anniversary of Terry A. Davis's untimely death by suicide with a train. Very sad. I put up a video, one of my favorite videos of him trying to understand reality and his reality, and I changed the quote rotation to only be Terry quotes, so every single one had the N-word in it. Also commemorating Terry's death is Crunklord. Crunklord runs our Fediverse instance, as I mentioned yesterday, or at the beginning of the stream, rather, sorry. And yesterday, he's been working on this for many months, but he released it yesterday. Terry has made... Terry. I called Crunklord Terry as if he's been possessed by Terry's soul. Crunklord released a second game for Terry's operating system, Temple OS, called Blaze It Faggot 2, a sequel to the Temple OS game Blaze It Faggot, which he also made. So, I'm going to go ahead and boot up VMware, and we are going to play Blaze It Faggot 2. and I'll show it off just a little bit. You can download this for free. He is a copyright abolitionist, so you can download this and do whatever you want with it. It's open source. So if you also want to write code for Temple OS, you can do so. I have received a warning that I'm filling up my disk space. I need to delete stuff. Give me a second. Trash is full. Oh my god. I'm gonna end up breaking my fucking computer trying to delete files. Okay, that happened. Delete some files. Move into trash. Empty. Okay. I had it working before the stream, then I started recording, and now my computer is freaking out. Okay, continue, and let me switch over my recorder. VMfag, here we go. Okay, and this is VMware. This is a real instance of Temple OS, and it's asking me if I want to play Blaze It Faggot 2. I'll type Y to get it. This is his little thing. It's licensed under MIT plus NIGGER, which is the license that is just MIT, but it says that the license must include the acronym NIGGER because it will stop soy boys from using the code. And this is actually, this license, the MIT plus NIGGER, is actually really popular with Chinese open source developers because they think it's really funny to piss off Westerners. So, controls here. This is like a kind of like a bullet hell or traditional arcade game, but it runs at 60 frames per second. This is, of course, all Ring 0 security running basically on the same level as drivers within Temple OS. This is a real game. And it's written in Holy C, 100% Holy C, with the sound and colors as ordained by God. It breaks no rules that Terry has set forth for programming. So let's play a little bit. I'm terrible at old arcade games, so forgive me. I think the power-ups give you like special guns. There's a bomb that you can use too. Oh, this one, oh, that is a power-up. So you have to collect the words, and I'm really hoping that the words I'm collecting are ones generated by the random number generator that Terry uses to communicate with God. Because if you don't know, he would use the random word generators to ordain messages from God. So I think that he's probably using the same driver or whatever for getting these words. The story is that the Jannies have taken the God word, so you have to get the God words back by killing the Jannies, which is what I'm doing right now. Not doing very. Oh fuck! Oh, I did get it. Ooh. This is too close to Tuhu for me. All this bullet dodging. So they still have 3 bombs. I didn't use any bombs. I can use a bomb this time to Yeah, remember, this is all Holy C. This isn't like written with Unity and then ported over or whatever. Okay, I'm actually doing pretty good here. I remember he was posting screenshots of this explosion effect. Like if you when I do the bomb, actually I'll do the bomb now. You can see that warp and distortion. That's a quadratic sign that he was posting different screenshots of, theory screenshots, to try and get it looking right. Getting it looking like a bomb should. Jeez. Oh no. It's getting very too-hooey. Ah! I'm not getting many hits in because I'm having to stay so far out here. The hitboxes feel very tight. I really... Like, I'm not good at these games, but... I really feel like... I never feel like when I get hit, it's unfair. I feel like the hitbox is exactly what it ought to be. Or exactly as I see it on the screen. Ah, there we go. I got it. I managed to trace it correctly and get a few shots in. Literally just Tuhu but base. It's true. It's written in Holy C, so it can't be unbase. Is the fact of the situation here. There is. I want to show you a gun that you can get that is really cool. It's like this. Oh fuck! I just ate a ton of shit doing that. one of the upgrades is like this really cool laser beam, but I've not seen it. I used the bomb. That was a bit much. I'm gonna get fucked on this. I can feel. I'll play it after. I'll probably die on this, but then after. Oh jeez. But then I'll want to. I really want to show you that effect because it's very cool. It kind of looks like the Commodore 64 logo being shot at you. Ah! Oh, I just ate a bunch of shit right there. I'm gonna die. The animation, yeah, the animation's really smooth. Everything looks great. He did a very good job. He has a very pragmatic system for developing. He really believes that people who develop should develop games, because when you develop a game, oh, there it is. There's the rainbow effect. Ah, sorry, I dove in like an idiot to get get the thingy, but there you go. Very cool. You don't have to hit directly. It kind of like sticks. Oh, they're still shooting at me. That's mean. Too bad Crunklord is. He's not schizo. He's just silly. He's just a silly guy. Okay. Maybe also a tranny, but I don't think so. I think he's too mean on trannies to be like a secret tranny. But that's it. There you go. Very fun. Very cool. And like my thought with the as I was explaining, he suggests to work on a game, because when you work on a game, you learn a lot about the limitations of a computer. And when you write a traditional application, like a web application, you don't really see the constraints of your hardware, of how a CPU runs, how your GPU runs. And you'll write inefficient code because when you load a web page one time, it's like, whatever, loads almost instantly. But then when you put a web page on actual load, it consumes a lot of resources. So you don't really appreciate how important efficient code is until it's already put to the test and you're already being fucked over. But when you run a game, a lot's going on. If your frames start dipping, it's very noticeable. So his idea is that everybody interested in programming should make a little game, and they should make a game that is enjoyable to them in a format for whatever system, for whatever language that they are interested in, even if it means having to write parts of the engine yourself, because that will teach you so much about your computer and the limitations of your code, and how resource intensive what you write is. And that makes you better no matter how you apply yourself in programming. So that's Blaze It Faggot 2. That can be found if you are interested in downloading it, at scumgames.neocities.org. I will put this on the screen. Actually, I can't. How do I find a URL for this? I can't put it on the screen. I'll put it on the end when I play the outro song. I'll put it on the end is what I'll do. There you go. It's very easy to set up, by the way. You just download VMware and you run the ISO and you press yes, and it works perfectly without any setup. And there you go. R.I.P. Terry Davis. Thank you, Crunk, for your hard work with the Fediverse and your games and such. It's very interesting. And I do believe I have reached the end of my notes. I think that's it. Not bad for 2 streams in 1 week. And I think I will see you guys next Friday. I don't think I have anything planned before next Friday. Oh! My God, the Super Chats. I almost completely forgot about the Super Chats. Probably didn't get as many today because we're not on YouTube, which is okay. I'm gonna have to be careful on YouTube, because I'll be able to stream next week on YouTube. But if I get a second strike, that will be bad. And if I get a second strike, I will stop streaming on YouTube until both are gone, basically. And I probably won't keep any archives on YouTube. You'll have to check the site directly. And hopefully I'll have a fucking 10 gigabit line by then, so you can actually stream directly from the site. But yeah. Okay, let's check out the Super Chats. I'm going to put us in the green mode, so everyone knows this is the part to skip forward if you're not interested in. And the song I have picked out is pretty good, actually. So if you're interested in the song, stick around. All right. Got my time set up correctly this time, so I'm not reading from Super Chats from last year. Anonymous, for one, says, please enable the crypto to Super Chat donations. We won't be able to Super Chat if you get deplatformed otherwise. I don't have a unified system for that, but there is talk about enabling some way to donate with Monero, which if you already have Monero, yeah, I suppose I can do that. I'll look into that. Crypto donation Super Chats. Toilet Duck for 2 says, the verb to duck existed before the name of the animal. Originally called an aned, the waterfowl was later referred to as duck or a ducker because of how it would duck underwater for food. That's very interesting. I did not know that. Toilet Duck for 2 also says, so when you see an aned and her babies happily floating in a pond, you can relax knowing she's not a real mother ducker. That is such a long setup for a really bad pun. But at least I learned something in the process. Iman Igor for 20 says, there's a funny line that alphabet people like to repeat about how they'd possibly choose to be oppressed, or why they would choose to be oppressed, but an oppression complex lets you believe none of your problems are your fault, doesn't it? Yeah, it also lets you make $65,000 by putting out a sad video going, oh no, I was misgendered, I was so scared, ooh, please give me money to buy a house with, and then they actually do it. Meanwhile, I have to hustle and bustle, read Super Chats, fucking sell merchandise that people actually want to buy. Keffals can just say, please donate to my safety fund. Anonymous for 5 says, I no longer wish to be mad at the internet, I just want to be happy. Well, you probably aren't going to find happiness on the internet. Sneedum Feedum for 10 says, I'm a boofer, I'm going to boof. Which, if you don't know, boofing was a term that was introduced to the general public during the Supreme Court inauguration of that last guy, because there was talk of him boofing. He was in his yearbook, he was called a boofer. And that means that he farted a lot, apparently. The Abominable Homeman for 5 says, remember, folks, every donation makes Ethan, Ralph, Keffals, Russell, Weir, PPP, Andy Warsky, Melinda Scott, Vordrak, Kingle, and everyone else who hates Null Seethe. I mean, if that's the way that you have to frame it, then yes, it does. Keffals, every single time I receive $1, Keffals has to donate for another second that day. Konstantin Romanov for 15 says, the very name of London is cursed by being the cradle of industrialization. This is why London, Ontario gave rise to Keffals. I did not know that. I thought industrialization started in Germany, along with the printing press and a bunch of other shit. That makes sense. I mean, industrialization is the root of all evil when you get down to it. Anime wouldn't exist without industrialization. Speaking of anime for 5 says, I model my rhetorical sayings after Kant. I know how the overlord loves his pop philosophy. I don't know anything about Kant or Kanta. I apologize. Kant. Okay, if I search Kant, the result I get is N'Golo Kant, who is a French footballer. I love how the guy, the name, is French. He's a French footballer, but his name is N'Golo Kant, which is like the most African fucking like mud hut name possible. Medicare Masochist for $20 says, watch out for the B-Jams. Thank you, Medicare Masochist. Asset for 5 says, will you ever bring back the regular take that off the goddamn internet posts? So, about that. The amount of complaints that I get to my email are very low now. I do not get that many emails, and most emails that I get are very polite. And that is because if you go to the contact us page, you'll get this big spiel about how it's not a good idea to email me to be an asshole because I will fuck your shit up. And people see that before they email me. And then if you go to help, there's 2 sections. One, how is this site legal? And then removing content. And these both basically outline that I never remove content and you're wasting your fucking time. So don't even bother. So I've noticed ever since I put those up, the amount of emails that I've got angrily demanding that I take shit down and that they're going to sue me has basically disappeared. So if you're wondering why there's very rarely any content and take that off the goddamn internet, it's because it's my fault. You can blame me. Artyom Z for 1City5 says, Shalom from the Crimea, from the most sanctioned region to the most sanctioned operator, having been listening for years. Rock Wonders. Thank you. If you are not the person that I know who put me in contact with an attorney, or I forget what they call them. It's not a solicitor. There's another word for it, for a lawyer in Russia. But I know somebody from Crimea. It's apparently a very nice region. It's very it's like the closest thing that Russia has to a Mediterranean or like the Canary Islands to travel to for warm summers. Striga for 5 says, Josh, do you think the coding in Java will be viable in 3 to 5 years down the road? I need to learn a marketable skill. General public would be safer with me behind the desk than me driving a truck. Java will be viable for years to come because it is the language that apps are written in for the Android operating system. As much as I do not like Java, and as Java has a bad reputation, Google has essentially solidified it as a language which will be useful for at least another decade. There's always the option, like Facebook basically took PHP and made HHVM out of it, and like their own language to replace the PHP on their systems. So there is a chance that Google will eventually take Java or replace Java with some other operating system. And yeah, there's a ton of stuff written in Java that's fucking old. So if you want a job that pays you $150,000 a year to occasionally change a system that a Fortune 500 company has relied on for 20 years and which they don't intend to replace because why fix what's not broken? If you want that kind of job, learn Java or Cobalt, because there is shit still written in Cobalt which is used, and it pays very highly to have you sit there and occasionally update it once a year and pretend to be doing work. So there's that kind of a job. But I mean, like, I get asked a lot, like, what language to learn. Literally pick anything. Go, PHP. Well, I wouldn't suggest PHP because it's a very easy language, but people desperately want to replace it. You can get work with PHP, but it's just like you're teaching yourself things wrong. Learn Rust, learn Go, learn Java, learn JavaScript. If you want a job, learn JavaScript. You don't even need to be good if you learn JavaScript. If you learn JavaScript and pass a boot camp and have a certificate, they will fucking hire you. You won't make that much money because there's so many Indians and Russians and retards that know JavaScript. Like, everyone knows JavaScript. But if you have a Pulse and you have a certificate saying that you've learned JavaScript, or you have a GitHub written in JavaScript, you can get a job, no problem, in JavaScript. But yeah, PHP is on the decline, hardcore. The biggest things written in PHP is WordPress, but that market of like pumping out WordPress extensions is like cornered by Indians that work for pennies. PHP is not the thing to get into, unless you're like specifically working directly with small businesses. Just honestly, if you are in the position where I currently work by lifting up bricks of iron and my spine is going out and I'm going to not be able to work in a year. I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I want a job where I sit in a comfy chair and my spine isn't as important to my job. JavaScript. Go to Google, type in how to program in JavaScript. You will find something. You can pay someone $50 for a boot camp and you will get a job, I promise you. Neighborhood Babushka, written in a Polish way with the CZ as opposed to a sh, because they're hushes as they're called in Slavic languages are very strange. Kerfuffle has dead eyes like a seagull or something. It's true. He does have that kind of like dead bird of prey look to him, where he doesn't feel proper emotions. Electric Ham Sandwich for 20 says, I admire your dedication to keeping your funny cyberbullying website up and running well. Thank you for providing a platform for me to make fun of troons on the internet. Well, you're very welcome, even though you spelled internet with the lowercase I. Maybe you'll learn one day. That'll be my greatest accomplishment. Winston Fujimori for 10 says, I'm the guy who asked about getting ghosts on the Fediverse. He's really busy, though, and isn't able to do it now, so he appointed me, Inner Circle member, to do it for him. I'm just going to go to post first. Sure, go for it. If you want to get him like a domain set up and stuff, get in touch. I'll figure something out for you if you want. Isaac Hitchcock for 2 says, heard a couple streams back that you were a big fan of King of the Hill and want to tell you also to watch Office Space and Beavis and Butthead if you haven't yet. Have a great day, Jers. Thanks. I maybe will. I've heard of Beavis and Butthead. I've heard of Office Space. I've never watched either. I'm on season 8 of King of the Hill now. Hacksleep for 2 says, imagine being a cop to shoot dogs and end up talking to a fat troon explaining what dead naming is to you. Being a cop sounds like the worst proposition on earth right now. Speaking of, by the way, I didn't get a chance to talk about this at all. I didn't leave a note to mention this, but I might as well now that you bring it up. Speaking of, are you guys looking for work? I heard some of you guys are looking for work. That's no problem. The IRS has an opening. We're hiring special agents now. If you haven't heard, they passed a bill to onboard 85,000 IRS agents over the next 9 years, and they're looking specifically for a special agent who is a U.S. citizen over 21, qualifies based on education or specialized experience, has a driver's license, can pass a background check, and can carry a firearm. Your duties are, oh, they changed it. They changed it. They changed the description. One of the key requirements was willing to carry out lethal or deadly force. It specifically mentioned that you had to be okay with using deadly force. No, they took that out completely. But that made its round on like conservatard Twitter, where they're like making fun of this because they passed this bill saying that they want to hire like 100,000 people to collect taxes, and then immediately the ads go up saying we're looking for people who are willing to shoot their fellow Americans for not paying taxes. And then they caught flack for that and changed the wording a little bit. Great, fun times had by all. Let us continue with the super berries. Konstantin Romanov for 15 says, I need $20,000. Well, guys, you've almost donated the full $15,000. I only need 5,000 more to get to the 80,000 goal. I'm so touched. It's true. That's classic Italian nurturing right there. That's very impressive. Anonymous for 10 says, it's also tiring. I really wish troons would stop forcing themselves in every place I enjoy. Oh, trust me, buddy. I've been there for a while. Roxanne Wolf for 20 says, weekly Sneed tithe paid. Also, because some neghole pausers need a reminder. And then there's a link to a Kiwi Farms attachment. Let's see what this is. Oh, it's a cow tipping thing. That's interesting. I've never seen that before. I'm glad that you've carefully... There's a thing on the forum where, for whatever reason, the forum has like autonomously developed this word of like touching shit. They don't touch the shit. Don't poke the shit. Don't rub the shit between your hands, bro. Don't shovel the shit into your mouth. And this is like their way of saying don't fuck with retards off the site. Like there should be I don't know what's wrong with saying don't fuck with people off the site. I don't know what's wrong with saying that. But for some reason they developed the term no shit touching, no poo touching, and it's just like vile and juvenile, and I really hate it. The locale farm equivalent is cow tipping, which I like, even though it's like a extended cow metaphor, which I'm not partial to. I like that better than like shit eating. No shit eating, guys. It's one of the rules. But the word filter for poo touching is, or for like don't touch the poo. Word filters to don't pause load my neg hole. So neg hole pausing is also a very as appropriate as poo touching is, as far as I'm concerned. Member for 1341 says, why are the Super Saiyan clowns talking about politics and grooming children? This is the worst anime. I mean, that's grooming children into being trannies is pretty much par for the course as far as anime is concerned. Anonymous for 541 says, I don't want to be a fagoot anymore. How can I make it so I can carry on the proud blood of the white race? You have to unmolest yourself. If you find out a way to do this, you should patent it, because a lot of people would pay a lot of money for this. Anonymous for 1031 says, hey Josh, if you could please add different resolutions and reduce the bit rate for Odyssey. Streams seem to work better that way from what I've seen of other streams that don't buffer all the time. I don't know how to reduce the resolution, or because that requires processing. If there's a way to like, I don't think there is. I think that Ethan Ralph has like a special setup with Odyssey where he gets priority like processing for his streams, but I would have to find out a way to stream in 720p just for Odyssey. I could do that potentially, but I'd have to figure that out. Sorry. But I'll keep that in mind if I stream again, that Odyssey has to be 720p. Though on the fucking PeerTube, everyone seems to be having no problem with that. Let me refresh. Am I eating my own words here? No, it seems to be working just fine there. Which is a shame, because that's like torrenting base, I think. Supplemented by post servers, anyways. The Stress for 10 says, fellow 29-year-old here, just want to ask, is it too late to learn how to code? Most I've coded was the slot machine in C. That shump on Temple OS looks awesome. It's hard to say. I learned how to code when I was quite young. But you have to think about it. Like when the computers were made, the guys who made that were all, PhD, electronic engineers who worked at MIT and stuff. They weren't young whippersnappers growing up as digital natives. They figured that shit out as adults. They made that shit as adults. So I see no reason to say that someone who's 30 can't learn how to code. Literally just go to Google and type in how to program in JavaScript, or whatever. It's like with anything, it's 10,000 hours to be a master at something. It's a lot of work to be really good at something. But as far as like being good enough to be a cog in the machine at some company to pass the sniff test, like getting employed is mostly your ability to sell yourself, as far as I'm concerned. And depending on what country you're in, it's probably easier in some than others. So don't be discouraged. If you want to become a programmer, if you say I want to live in Wyoming and work for a company in New York City and raise the cost of living for everyone around me, and I think programming is the best way to do that, then don't be afraid. Why do you need my permission? I give you here. If you want to learn how to program, I hereby, by the authority appointed to me in the state of Florida, I guess, in the country of Serbia, and and the power appointed to me by the Communist Party of China, I hereby grant you the permission to learn how to program, how to code. It is so ordered that you may invest your time into this endeavor if you find it at all interesting to you. Okay, that out of the way, the official business concluded, the meeting minutes taken care of. Outro song for today is All Hail by The Devil Makes 3, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye-bye.
Come on down to where them tracks cross High Street. You gonna watch the whole world go insane. See the lighters hit the rocks in the bushes like the stars are coming down like rain. Here she comes, just a skin and